I even wrote you a song. I love leggings, I can't lie. Looking good in amplifies. But now they've gone and changed the fabric, and it's see-through. Then the scrunch rate and the fabric starts to pill too. Hello, this is Nicole Tan. Welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be having another review. I'd like to address some of the issues with the June 5th launch, especially the Amplifies. I just wanted to specify that this video is by no means any form of hate. You know how people around you who care about you will always tell you what they want you to do better. This is exactly it. This video is not sponsored. This video is also not a try-on haul. If you're here, you just want to know how the launch truly was and what were the issues a lot of customers have been facing. So without further ado, let's get into it. First of all, I want to thank so many of you on the Alphalete discussion group for offering me pictures, comments, clips of your correspondence with the Alphalete customer service team and your own experience with this launch. I'm specifically going to target the Amplifies, as I would say that most of the issues lie within this range. And unfortunately, it's probably the product all of us love most of all. Heck, we need it. So Alphalete, if you're listening, please address these issues, make them better, because we would gladly give you our money, but we need to make sure we're getting the product that we're paying for. Our loyalty is here for a reason, and if you don't understand that, it would really suck, and that wouldn't be nice. So first of all, I wanted to address that when putting on these delicate, expensive amplifies, we have to wear them very carefully. Your nails, don't let them dig into your revivals, your amplifies, your shorts, because it won't go well. Second, when we're putting them on, don't just yank them up. Roll the fabric up like you're putting on a pair of tights or pantyhose. You don't want it to tear, you don't want it to snag, and most importantly, don't put them in the dryer. And when you wash them, put them in a laundry bag. Gym wear is delicate. It's a material you do not want to blast in heat or a rough cycle, because it will not come out the same. So I just wanted to address that these complaints are not because of careless wearing and usage. We know how it goes. We know how to take care of our stuff. So here's my first impression when I put on my new pair of amplifies. I was really excited. They were so beautiful. The colors were gorgeous. So when I put mine on, I noticed right away that there was less compression. The fabric was a lot softer, and the 3-tiered waistband, which used to be super cinching on the waist, felt a little bit more flexible. I noticed that it would roll over really easily. Then I started to notice that my small feels as loose as my other mediums. And what was most noticeable was the scrunch. With all my previous amplifies, I felt that the scrunch was one of the most comfortable ones, and they were so flattering, but this one didn't look or feel the same. First of all, it hurt. It felt like a constant wedgie. Not a good feeling. And I also noticed that the scrunch kept pulling downwards versus the lift that everyone has been raving about. On top of that, I felt that there was a ton of excess fabric around the tummy and crotch area, a lot of extra fabric. I have bought Amplifies in small, medium, and large just to compare the difference between the sizes, how they fit, and what the compression is like. And these were very baggy. It almost gave you this Barbie crotch look, and it's not flattering. Worst of all, the camel toe. Oh my god. I have over a couple hundred pair of leggings, and the camel toe on these new Amplifies were the worst. Your entire world was on display when you would lean over it. I laughed so hard when I read that, but it's so true. There's so much excess fabric around the crotch area, especially the crotch gusset, which is so thin. It's shocking. When I rolled down my leggings, I was really surprised because lo and behold, I saw the carpet. It wasn't stretched, I just rolled it down and had a clear view of the carpet. And when I put it on, you had a clear view of my stuff. No! Needless to say, I was really nervous when I wore them around the house that day. No squats were squatted. No running was ran. I just kind of tiptoed around in them. How do people go commando in these? Won't you be afraid that stuff would poke out?
Pubic hair stuff.
So these are my first impressions, and I definitely miss how it used to feel more secure on my body, and I could actually sit in them without worrying about bad things happening to my pants that are so expensive. Alright, let's get into the list. Number 1, on Instagram, Alphalete addressed that no changes have been made to the designs and that she's perfect. And she was perfect. So here Alphalete claims that no notable changes has been made to the design, the cut. So here I have a list of quality control issues that we will address, and I would really love to see Alphalete figure these out with their manufacturer, with their design team, anything. We look forward to having our trusty Amplifies back. First of all, let's talk about the material. And this new material is undeniably softer, thinner, stretchier, less compression, especially in the light colors. And most importantly, why are they so shiny? In dark colors, they appear to be very see-through, mainly because of how reflective the material looks. Arctic blue and lemonade are pretty much sheer, beautiful, but sheer. Alphalete has had light colors in the past, and they weren't this see-through. They had a little bit more compression. They were stretchy, but they still held you in. There was no gaping. There's no looseness, excess fabric. You get your size, and you're happy. I've inserted pictures along the way so you can see other examples of the fabric. You know, people complaining about how it's shiny or see-through and etc. The question here is, did Alphalete support the change of the material? Did the manufacturers switch out the fabric to something cheaper? We don't know, but it would be really nice if we could get the old fabric back. Next, let's talk about the sizing inconsistencies. This is a really big issue because a lot of people have been complaining about how they've bought everything in the same size, they line them up, and they look completely different. In fact, they look like a size up or a size down, and if you pay good money for a bunch of leggings that you want to rely on, it's really important that the sizing is accurate. If you get smalls, we understand a tiny difference in sizing, but they cannot be this drastic. Where's the quality control in this? What size do we get? With the sizing inconsistency, there is a difference in compression levels as well. You'll notice that people complain about specific colors having specific issues. You'll notice a lot of people talking about powder gray being super tight, how black cherry doesn't have much flexibility in them and a lot of them tore. How mocha and lighter colors are super soft, thinner and stretchy. How twilight may be a darker color but see-through. And how French blue has a ton of other issues that I'm going to address in a bit. It's safe to say that powder gray runs tight. It's a lot smaller, and I have pictures here comparing powder gray next to mocha and black cherry. So I would say black cherry and powder gray is a lot more compressive and less stretchy. So to continue along this topic of the stretchiness and the size, we know that the different dyes used and different dyeing process can affect how the material is as a final product. So let's talk about the color issues with this launch. I think many of us noticed the discrepancies between the color from this launch and the previous one. And we're talking about Aspen. This is a beautiful dark mossy green that we were really excited to see it come back. If you take a look at the picture from this launch and the one before, you'll notice that the color is different, the stretch is different, and the gusset is different in Aspen. Other examples of defects in people's orders were runs in the color. For example, one leg might have inconsistent dyeing. Some people complained that it stained their legs, and some said after the first wash, the dye ran and stained other parts of the fabric. Most of the complaints about dye issues were blue. I'm not sure why, but it seems that many people talked about that. Next, we need to address the seams. I've seen quite a few try-on videos by people who are not sponsored, and if you look carefully, the seams have just melted off. I actually even reached out to them saying, "Hey, what happened? Did your leggings tear?" And they wrote me back and said, "No, actually the seams just completely loosened off. I'm going to get someone to tailor it as I don't want to have to return it or just, get a 50% refund, yada yada." From what I've known, usually if you write Alphalete and let them know there's a manufacturing issue, they will give you 50% of the price back. I also have some pictures of people who have just worn their leggings once or washed them once, and the seams just literally unravel. And to be honest, I don't think that's acceptable because we're supposed to be able to wear this and trust that it will survive a tough workout and handle extreme movements with gusto and not melt off. Why? Why is it falling apart? A few people also addressed that when they received their leggings, some of the seams weren't even fully sewn on, and it looks like someone needs to check the stitching and the seams prior to sending them out. Most importantly, we need to talk about the scrunch. We are all here for Amplifies because the scrunch is godsend. In fact, people always say if you could try just one thing from Alphalete, just try the Amplifies. They're perfect. But this launch, not so much. In fact, lots of dupes, other brands are catching up, so we want to see these things fixed. Let's talk about the issues with the scrunch. The length. Here are some measurements of the scrunch lengths. This is so important because as we can see, the scrunch used to be longer, higher, more secure, and there's this endless issue of whether it's supposed to be sewn into the gusset or not. In fact, lots of people have reached out to Alphalete asking which is the correct way it should be, and no one has the answer. How can you not know what the design is supposed to be and which one is correct? Because the length is a lot shorter this time, you'll notice that it keeps pulling downwards and it feels like a wedgie. It's tight, it's not as comfortable, and nobody likes that feeling. We prefer the older scrunch where it's a little bit longer, where it successfully separates both sides of the glutes. It parts the C, it's comfortable, and it lifts. To address the issue with the gusset, when it's sewn into the gusset, or when it's not sewn into the gusset, I have this really cool video that I found to be really helpful. You'll see that my friend here is tugging the area between the gusset and the scrunch. Some have a little space with a very thin strip of fabric between. That, my friends, scares me. Each time she goes like this, I go Some people say that when they put on their leggings, it rips right away. What is more embarrassing than having your scrunch rip at the gym? Now I'm thankful that the gyms in Ontario are still closed, because if my scrunch rips at the gym, I swear to God, I'm gonna need a new gym membership. I'm gonna go somewhere else, somewhere far away, because I don't want to be known as the girl whose butt scrunch goes haywire during a workout. Alphalete, don't do us like that. There has to be a decision with that. So after the scrunch, we have to talk about the camel toe situation. God, the camel toe is so bad, and I never struggle with camel toe. I have tried to adjust the fabric everywhere. Tuck them in, spread them aside. You know what I'm talking about. It's still there. It looks like an upside down McDonald's symbol right in my crotch. I'm not advertising no fast food here. What's going on? The gusset is a much thinner material. You do get a really clear view of your world. If you look at a lot of try-on hauls from other athletes, you'll notice that it looks very pronounced from the back.
In other words, your genitals are on display.
I'm sorry for being harsh. So apart from the gusset being super thin, let's talk about the material in general. And I'm not talking about lemonade or Arctic blue. So this thinner fabric has also proven itself to be pilling a lot. Some people say that when they wear it out with a pair of boots, just that light rubbing alone against the inside of the boots or shoes causes it to just go crazy with pilling. There is a pair of mocha colored leggings here that has pilled like crazy. It looks like she's put it in the dryer and the washer 5,000 times but has only worn it once. If the fabric is destroyed just from normal wear and tear or just normal movement, how are we going to expect it to live through a workout? Apart from that, it's practically see-through even with the slightest stretching. To make matters worse, the shiny new fabric makes it look like it's even more see-through on top of this really thin fabric. So yeah, I'm really nervous when I wear them. I admit I sold mine right away. So what is the verdict with all of this? What are your thoughts? I'd say either the manufacturer or Alphalete was very lax on quality control and didn't address a few things or even lied about a few things. You know, the scrunch being fixed. Some athletes were talking about how in this launch the scrunch is better or the fabric is better or that it's thicker. We're seeing a lot more complaints, a lot more posts addressing these issues. I'm just disappointed. But again, I'm going to clarify that I love the brand, I love the designs. I'm wearing Alphalete. If you haven't made a purchase yet, or if you're thinking of purchasing other colors to avoid these issues, I really hope that this video will help. I come from a place of love. I want things to get better, and I'm super excited about the next launch for Surface Path. Those are my favorites, and if things change, I swear I'm going to lose my mind. Over a pair of pants? Yes, I like to hear about your customer service experience as well, how you're doing with your haul, which were your favorite colors, and what you thought about them. I also pray that your amplifies make it through challenges of life, workouts, and other obstacles that may come your way. Am I literally praying for a pair of pants? I hope that the colors stay fresh and beautiful, that your scrunch never rips, and that no one thinks your leggings are see-through. I still really want a pair of copper. I should hold off, and maybe you should too until things get better. Till the next video, guys,